Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, December 22nd. From the San Antonio Express News, my name is Luis Vasquez, and this is your Express Briefing. All of the stories you need to know to start your day. You can expect mostly cloudy skies with a high of 70 degrees in San Antonio today. Undercutting President Donald Trump, Attorney General William Barr said he saw no reason to appoint a special counsel to look into the president's claim about the 2020 election or to name one for tax investigation of President-elect Joe Biden's son. Read more about Barr's final public appearance as a member of the Trump cabinet over at expressnews.com. Top state Republicans announced Monday that the Texas Capitol will reopen early next month as lawmakers begin returning to Austin for the new legislative session. The State House has been closed since March because of the coronavirus pandemic. And now let's move on to our top stories for the day. COVID-19 is forcing organizers of the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo, scheduled February 11th through the 28th, to go small. Overall, attendance will be held to less than 10% of last year's turnout of 1.5 million. With far fewer visitors, the rodeo and concerts will move from the AT&T Center to the smaller Freeman Coliseum next door, and the tickets were already taken. The family fair won't be an option for visitors, but the free annual carnival with about 40 rides will be. Take a closer look at what changes will be made in an effort to reduce the risk of spreading COVID-19, from the concerts to the rodeo events to the scholarship contests. After 51 years of leading Elf Louise Christmas project that's delivered gifts to children in need since she was barely out of her teens, founder Louise Locker has stepped down for a well-deserved rest, but still has the kids' best interest at heart. She's never been one for accolades and attention. If not for a newspaper reporter who long ago dubbed her as Elf Louise, Locker would still be anonymous. In this week's San Antonio Stories, Vincent T. Davis takes you back to the start of the project in December 1969 and looks ahead to what's next for the Good Samaritan. After weeks of negotiations, Congress on Monday night was poised to pass a $900 billion coronavirus relief package that will send more stimulus checks to many Texans, boost unemployment benefits, and offer billions in assistance for small businesses. The relief package will send $600 checks to those making less than $75,000 and their children, and will add $300 a week in unemployment for 11 weeks. Payments that are each half as much as Congress offered up the first round of COVID-19 stimulus this spring. It includes another round of forgivable paycheck protection loans, some $41 billion of which have already gone to more than 417,000 small businesses in Texas. Head over to expressnews.com to read more. Domestic violence doesn't take a holiday. That's the message behind a new San Antonio-led social media campaign that aims to raise awareness about the risks of domestic violence during the holidays and direct victims to resources throughout the community. The campaign, unveiled this month in partnership with the police department and University Health, is part of a larger effort among city and county officials to address the increase in domestic violence injuries and fatalities in Bexar County. The coronavirus remains a dire threat in San Antonio and Bexar County just days before Christmas, with the virus accounting for nearly a quarter of all local hospitalizations, officials said Monday. City officials also said 23.2% of patients in San Antonio hospitals are sick with the virus. That's up from 19.9% 1 week ago and up from 16% 2 weeks ago. Among those hospitalized, 109 were admitted in the past 24 hours, according to officials. Head over to expressnews.com to check out our all-new podcast page. There, you'll find other San Antonio-based podcasts such as Puro Politics, Spurs Insider, and The Docket. Next up are your need-to-know headlines. You can find all of these headlines and more inside of your Express News subscription. Good news for AT&T customers in San Antonio. You can watch Ken's 5 again. The local CBS affiliate had gone dark for several weeks due to a dispute between AT&T and Tegna, which owns the San Antonio station. State health officials announced Monday that Texans 65 and older and those over 16 who have chronic medical conditions will be next in line to receive COVID-19 vaccines, straying from a new federal guidance. Fredericksburg is renowned for its holiday festivities. The small city welcomes crowds each winter for its light shows, scenic downtown, and 26-foot-tall Christmas pyramid. But this year, officials are worried that visitors are bringing the COVID-19 virus with them. A commercial real estate firm is consolidating its 3 local offices and planning to move into a new building along the booming Broadway corridor, injecting more employees into San Antonio's urban core. Tony Parker is leaving San Antonio. Well, his feline counterpart is leaving anyway. The San Antonio Zoo announced last week that one of its lions, Tony, named after the notorious Spurs player, will be transferred to the Reed Park Zoo in Tucson, Arizona. As for the actual 2020 Spurs, Derek White agreed to a 4-year contract extension worth $73 million that will keep him under Spurs control through his 30th birthday. Nearly 1.3 million Texans signed up for Affordable Care Act plans during open enrollment for 2021 health insurance plans, a 15% increase from the year prior, according to federal data. Several people accused in deadly attacks were indicted last week as Bexar County grand juries wrapped up their work for the year, including a man charged with killing a young mother in a home robbery that netted a piggy bank and tennis shoes, as well as a man who sheriff's deputies said stabbed his father to death at home and left the body on the floor for 2 days. The White House Coronavirus Task Force continues to urge Texas and other states to step up mitigation efforts, even as an update sent to Texas officials says a stabilization in COVID cases in the state demonstrates the effectiveness of countermeasures already in place. School districts in Bexar County are at risk of losing a collective $85 million in in-state funding during the second half of the school year if Texas policymakers don't change their current course. A grace period is set to expire at the end of the year. For the second time this month, the Historic and Design Review Commission is requesting that a cluster of agricultural structures on San Antonio's outskirts be considered for historical landmark designation, despite opposition from a property owner. New travel books have been scrapped or postponed because too few people are traveling for guidebook publishers to make a profit. With a few exceptions, the guidebooks on the shelves have a copyright date of 2019 or earlier. Read more about this in this week's Wary Traveler column. The Texas Department of Insurance urged lawmakers to close a loophole in the state's patient protection law that allows out-of-network ambulance companies to charge unsuspecting customers exorbitant bills. In 2019, lawmakers passed sweeping legislation to curb crippling out-of-network medical bills in emergency situations or when patients had no choice of who treated them. It also took many patients out of the middle of fights over billing between insurers and providers. That measure, Senate Bill 1264, was applauded as one of the toughest patient protection laws in the nation. But there was a notable exclusion: air and ground ambulances. Read more about the medical billing problems over at expressnews.com. Two San Antonio area homes will compete in the Great Christmas Light Fight on ABC in 2021 from Bernie and Windcrest. The Bernie home has more than 100,000 lights synchronized to Christmas music, and in Windcrest, it's all about Santa. Learn more about the local representatives in the show over at expressnews.com. From Spring Branch to the South Side, we have 5 meat markets that cater to those who want to know more about the meat they eat. San Antonio native Mike Jones, who co-wrote Pixar's big Christmas Day movie Soul, says his final moments with his father inspired a key scene in the movie. Find out who took home Player of the Week honors and see the updated Express News rankings for girls basketball and boys basketball over at expressnews.com. After finishing the 2017-2018 season third in the league in defensive rating, the Spurs dipped to 19th in 2018 and 2019 and 25th last season. The coaching staff's emphasis on defense is even greater this year. And that's all for today. This was your Express briefing for Tuesday, December 22nd. My name is Luis Vasquez. Please consider becoming an Express News subscriber to get in-depth coverage on all the stories you heard today. Also, be sure to rate and review this podcast inside of your Apple Podcast app, as it really helps the show. Have a wonderful day, everyone.